Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Anna. Today I'm coming to you with these paper roses, frosty paper roses. I've created quite a few and today I will show you how you can create these roses. They are very simple to follow. You don't have to have very much experience with flower making at all. Trust me, they are very simple, they are very easy for beginners. So if you're starting your flower making journey, this is something absolutely for you. So I will show you today how to make two roses. I will show you how to make a larger and a smaller one. I will be working with Lady E Design dies, flower 001. For each rose you will need 2 layers of the smaller die and one larger. Do you remember my flower making tutorial with 4 Miran roses? I will link you in the description box below if you fancy checking this out. The tutorial is pretty similar, but working with paper is a little bit different. So for each rose you will need 2 layers of the smaller die and one larger, and you can buy them in the way whichever works for you. I will be using Arteza drawing pad, which is 130 GSM. For me, this paper works absolutely perfect for flower making. If you have any different paper what you wish to use for flower making, then by all means go for it. So I have my layers already cut out. So I've got 2 smaller layers and 1 larger for smaller rose, and 2 smallest and 1 larger from the biggest size for the bigger roses. I will be working with the Distress ink. Distress ink will be actually activating when I will spray the water. So if you want to go for permanent ink, if you want to go for gelatos, whatever colors you want to add, then by all means go for it. And whatever medium you want to work with, then that is absolutely your own choice. I like to work with inks, especially Distress inks, because when I'm spraying the water, the inks activates with water and give me that nice watery effect. So I'm just inking the edges of my petals like so, and as you can see I'm not very precise with that. I'm just dabbing gently the sponge into my ink pad and just smooshing on my petals. So repeating the same process on both sides, top and the bottom layers. Now if you want to leave it only on top layer, then it's absolutely entirely up to you. However, when the petals actually inked on both sides, it creates that nice dimension look for your flower. So whatever works for you, like I said, is your own preference, is your own choice. So I'm just carrying on inking the layers, and then I will move on to the next step, and I will meet you in a second. So all my layers are inked now, and now I will place them on this old towel and will spray each layer once with the squirt of water. I'm activating ink on my petals. Like I said, I'm using Distress inks, which is water based, so it will create me this nice watercolor look. And when I'm spraying water on a paper, it actually will help me to shape the petals for my flowers. So I'm just waiting a couple of seconds for the water to start absorbing into the paper, and when the paper starts curling up like this, that means my layers will be ready to be shaped. So I'm just removing the excess of the water from my layers, and now I will just turn them into the front way, and with embossing tool I will just press once on each petal and in the center. So I'm aiming for that look that my petals will have this a little bumpy effect. So I'm repeating the same process on all of the layers, like so. And for the largest layer, I'm just switching to the a little bit bigger embossing tool. And now my petals are ready to be shaped. So each petal, I'm just gently rolling in my fingers, like so, just to create a little bit of the crease, so my rose will have nice effect. So this is what I'm aiming for. So I will go and repeat the same process on all of my layers, and I will meet you in one moment when we will be creating the center of our roses. Paper to air dry, or you can give it a quick blow with your heat gun. For this purpose I've chose to do a heat gun just to dry my papers quicker for this tutorial, but usually I'm just leave them on side for the air drying. So for the center I will be using kitchen foil. So I'm just taking a small piece of a kitchen foil and roll it in my fingers just to create a small ball. So I'm just pressing and squashing very tightly so my center will not actually get D-shaped. So I will just attach this ball into my first layer using a hot glue, like so. Okay, now we will be starting gluing petals one by one. So I'm just applying a glue on my ball in the center, and then I will go all over with one petal just to cover my ball, like so. Okay, and then I will take one petal across, apply glue, and just stick it there, and just bend it on top just to create that crease that my rose it start opening up. This is the effect I'm aiming for. And now I will just glue all of the petals, just adding a tiny amount of glue for each petal. I'm not sure if you can see that in camera because I've got a sunshine in my room today, but I'm trying my best to focus on that. So when I'm gluing each petal, I'm just pressing at the bottom just to create a nice roundy shape. So I'm just trying to get rid of all the corners, okay, like so. Move on to the second layer. So I'm just applying a small amount of a glue in the center of my second layer, and then I'm placing my center like so. The way how I'm placing my center into the second layer, so my petals not overlapping. That way my rose will have a nice round shape. And then again, I'm gluing each petal individually, just adding a small amount of the glue and trying to put my petals one behind another. And then again, I'm pressing at the bottom just to try and get rid of those rectangle corners, so my rose will have a nice roundy shape. So I'm just attaching the third layer of my little rose. So again, I'm applying a small amount of glue in the center first, and then I'm positioning my petals so they're not overlapping, and then again I'm working on each petal individually. And again, I'm trying to push each petal one behind another. Okay, so I will just carry on working on that. And then I will meet you when we will be moving on to the larger rose. So my small rose is ready. Now I will be moving on to my larger rose. So for my larger rose, for the center, you can also create the bowl with using kitchen foil, or you can grab berry. It's entirely up to you what you have on hand. I would like to show you the two different ways how you can create your roses. And as you can see, I'm trying to push the berry through the layer, and because I'm working with paper, it's really hard for me to do so. So I have to go and poke the holes in the center. If you would be working with foam miran, like I did present you with the previous rose making video, it is easy to poke the hole through with foam miran, because foam miran is easy to work with. It's more softer than the paper. So I will just start creating the center of the rose. So I'm applying the hot glue all over on one of the petals, and then I'm covering the center of my berry like so. Then I will grab one petal across and will create a crease in the center like so. So as you can see, that is creating the effect that my rose it start opening up. And that way I'm covering all the berries, so no matter what color you are using, it won't be visible. So now I will go and glue my other petals, and my center of the rose is ready. And remember to press very tightly at the bottom of your rose, because working with paper is a little bit different than with foam miran. Foam miran, like I said, is more flexible. Working with paper is a little bit harder. So the center of the rose is ready. So now I can move on to my second layer. I just need to add a little amount of a glue for these two petals to stick them together. There we go. So moving on to the second layer. That's the effect we have so far. So I'm just pushing my layers through first and making sure my petals not overlapping. And then again I'm working on each petal individually. So I'm adding a small amount of a glue and then just sticking each petal individually. And again I'm pressing at the bottom just to make sure I get rid of those corners and my petals will stick well. And again I'm going for the effect that each petal is slightly behind the other, so that way my rose will have a nice roundy effect. So I'm working on my last petal, adding a small amount of a glue and then just pushing at the bottom just to make sure it will glue well and also get rid of those corners. So now it's time for the last layer. My rose is coming on quite nicely. So again, repeating the same process. Make sure the petals not overlapping and then gluing each petal individually. So I'll just carry on sticking all the petals and I will meet you in just one moment. So here they are, my roses are ready. You can finish at that point if you want to, or you can take it a little bit further and maybe add a glitter or add something else. For this tutorial, I will be adding the frosty effect for my roses, and I went for this diamond dust. So firstly, I'm just applying a little bit of a glue onto my roses. And then I will just dip my roses into the jar with this frosty diamond, tap off the excess, and here it is. My rose is all frosty and sparkly. So I will just finish off my second rose in the same way. I hope you like the idea. I hope you like the tutorial. I hope you actually have opened yourself to create flowers. So all I need to do now is just cut off the excess of the wire from my berry and my roses are ready. So I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you open up for flower makings. Let me just bring all of those roses what I've created just to give you a close-up. Here they are. So just to recap, I was working with Arteza paper and Lady E Design Die Flower 001. So that's everything from me for you today. I hope you liked the tutorial. I hope you found the inspiration. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. And I hope you will subscribe to my channel for further tutorials to come. Till the next time, my lovely friends. Bye for now.